Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast Retro Life for You Movies of the 1980s. Here we are again, Travis, in the month of December, our third week.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
We are not jingling all the way. That's a 90s movie, okay?
Yeah, I watched that a little bit this afternoon too, and my wife got angry. She's like, "Can you turn that off so I can talk to you for a minute?"
Did you recite to her real quick the name of all the reindeer? Because you knew
I,
them?
I tried.
You tried? Yeah, it's the third week of our month of December, third episode of our Christmas movies, and our third episode is none other than Ernest Saves Christmas.
My man Ernest P. Worrell.
I mean, who don't like a little Ernest? Know what I mean, Vern?
Know what I mean? Heck yeah, I'm excited to do this one. I'm so glad that because you let me do. It wasn't this year. I believe it was last year. You let me do Ernest. What was it? Ernest Scared Stupid?
We didn't. We've never done an Ernest movie.
We haven't. Oh, I wanted to
No,
do it. We didn't
you.
do it. That's what it was.
That's probably what it was. What was
Or
that? Is that
maybe
like a,
maybe we were talking about it, and I was talking about that time I set up a 20 foot by 20 foot drop cloth on a frame that I made out of PVC pipe and put my projector in the backyard and watched it on the projector for
it?
Halloween.
I started saying it's a Halloween movie. Did you? Are you sure you didn't ask me this past Halloween if we would do that? We did the other movies instead.
It may have been that we did the one that our 7 fans requested.
Yes, that could be. Well, 8 if you include me. I'm a fan of the show too.
Well, okay,
I
9
mean,
then.
but I mean, I don't know if it was this year. It could have been last year because last year we ended up doing Trick or Treat with Marty, friend of the show, Marty
That's
Phillips, and
right. Yep.
so
Yep. Yep.
we could have talked about it then and done Trick or Treat instead, or it could
Okay.
have been something you picked that you recommended this year. But we took that poll, like you said, of
Yeah.
all 8 of our fans, and
In
uh,
any
and, and
case,
and we got that. So
how was your week?
it's man, I'm still
Adjusting.
I'm used to the new job. I've adjusted to the job and I'm more or less getting up on time early with no problems. But when I get a lack of sleep,
Uh-huh.
then I will pop up out of bed like normal, but within 2 hours I'm hitting a wall and I am dead tired and sleepy. And I know it's because of the lack of sleep at that point.
Well, let me ask you this. And I ask everybody that gets around our age, and I've been doing this for about the past 5 years. So anybody who gets over about 35, really, well, that would be the last 10 years. I've been doing it for a long time though.
15 for
Are you,
me.
yeah, are you taking any kind of multivitamins or any kind of supplements to help you out?
Sir, yes, sir. I take
Nice.
vitamins B, C, D, and zinc.
Okay, you need to add some magnesium to that because all humans are deficient in magnesium, and this is one of the things that Ray and I did a podcast on here a while back. I think it might have been the last one we did because we haven't been on in a while doing the street gentry. Which, gosh almighty, Ray's just going to throw me to the side and say I ain't no friend no more if I don't get what he was doing. But anyway, yeah, no, we went camping this weekend, and that's what I was telling a buddy of mine. He. He was in the hospital. He got in pretty bad shape here a while back, back in early fall. Um, came close to not making it to the hospital in time with, of all things, some gallstones and gallbladder issues.
Mm.
Like they took him from us. So y'all be aware of that too. Your gallbladder can mess you up real good. But he's been real lethargic and everything. Had bouts of fatigue, and I had asked. He said that he had finally started taking some. Well, what the way the conversation started was he pulled out a Ziploc bag and he had some supplements in it. I said, "Did you finally start listening to me, old man?" Because he's 10 years older than I am, and he started laughing. He told me why. So since he had his gallbladder taken out, those bouts of fatigue that he's had, he started taking supplements to help with that. So at our age, it's good to start. You know what I mean? Being manly men take care of themselves.
Well, I would tell you this now. Not that Chuck Norris is supporting our show in any way, but
Right.
I will say this. I have a few good friends that take that morning kick supplement that he puts out or that he
Yep.
endorses.
Yeah.
and they swear by it. They say that it works great for them. They get energy throughout the day, that they feel better. They get less pain in their joints and stuff, and things of that nature, less inflammation. I've never tried it before, so I can't personally say anything about it. And I've been thinking about getting it, but I have
Well, I'll
not.
tell you another one too for me that helped real great, um, because of the diabetes and blood pressure and stuff too. Is flaxseed is great, so a flaxseed supplement, and then as far as that goes too, Alpha Brain, dude. I'm on the Joe Rogan bandwagon. The only thing about the Alpha Brain is if and when I do have my ADD medicine and I take the Alpha Brain with it, it's a little too much. I have to do one or the other.
At this point, the way we're throwing pills out there, it's just gonna be one multivitamin and call it a day.
Yeah,
It's because
it's one day.
I'm already taking two regular prescriptions and then throwing five or six more vitamins on top of it individually. So I'm
Mhm.
taking an average of 7 or 8 pills when I take them. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm taking cinnamon as well.
Heck yeah.
So cinnamon helps with your sugar and thing. It helps keep
Cinnamon
that a little
and
more in control.
capsaicin does too. Capsaicin does too. But
Yeah.
anyway, this isn't a men's health podcast, but I just want to take a minute to put a little emphasis on us taking care of ourselves because we want
Well,
to be
if we
enjoy life
don't,
as much as we can
look,
for as long as we can.
look, if we don't do that, and Ernest is not available to help save Christmas, one of us has to step up.
Exactly.
So,
And believe it or not, if y'all have not watched our Ernest movies, we joke around and say that uh, John Cena, if and when you do can see him now and then, he's starting to look like a little bit like Jim Varney. But
yes,
dude, it's funny to me too. I didn't realize it as a kid, but as I got older, some of the scenes, like it say he gets wet or like his shirt's wet and it's tight on him or something.
yeah.
Like, dude, Jim was stacked, bro. Ernest was in some shape, bro.
Oh, it's just a character the man plays. I mean, for crying out loud, it's just a character. This is not
Ernest,
how he. And, I at one point in my life, I thought this was truly how he acted. I
right,
really did. And it's like Larry the Cable Guy. He carries his persona in public when he goes out,
right. And
but he doesn't
Jim
really
did
act
that.
that way.
Jim did that because Ernest was so beloved too. Jim, like, one of his quotes is, "We can all learn a little something. We can all learn something from Ernest." Another one is, "It's always good to laugh, whether it's at Ernest or with Ernest." And he was actually very good friends with a lot of comedians. One of my favorite clips of him and Robin Williams is him and Robin Williams together. I think they were backstage at some function and they were both just acting a fool. I wish there was something somewhere where those two got on stage and improv because they started acting a fool and it was one of the funniest moments I've ever seen.
Oh, that's crazy. I wouldn't mind seeing that myself. That would be a hoot for sure.
No doubt.
Well, let's jump into things here. We get a little rundown of Ernest Saves Christmas. It's from 1988. The director is John R. Cherry III.
Cherry.
Screenplay written by Ed Turner and just says B. Klein.
Be
Yeah,
quiet.
we're John R. Cherry III. The cast highlights are Jim Varney as Ernest P. Worrell, Douglas Seale as Santa Claus, Noelle Parker as Harmony Starr, and Oliver Clark as Joe Carruthers.
Mhm.
Of course, Joe Carruthers is the guy that Santa Claus has handpicked to pass the torch to
But we can't
take
forget.
over.
I'm going to interrupt just for a minute. When we do the rundown, we cannot forget. We got to include uh, Gallard Sartain, I think, and Bill Berg, because that was Chuck and Bobby, and Chuck and Bobby was in every single movie and the little bit of TV work that was on. It's like Chuck and Bobby. If you had an Ernest show or Ernest movie, Chuck and Bobby was on there too. So
And,
I want
and
to include them on the first rundown.
all right, so the Gallard Sartain and Billberg, you said.
Yes.
Now, I'm gonna sound stupid, but I'm gonna ask: are these the two security guards from the airport where they were keeping the reindeer?
Yes.
Okay, because I've not seen their faces anywhere. And Gellard Sartain has, well, he's got a hat and some kind of hat and sunglasses on. It's really throwing me off on who he
You
was.
wouldn't. You would. He's been. So Gillard's been in more stuff than Bill. Um, but Bill has only been in the Ernest movies as far as I know. But Gellert has been in quite a few things, but he's probably been on a bit part. And he's if you didn't know him from Ernest, you wouldn't recognize him.
Okay. All right. So I
I
guess
think.
in a way, this is kind of like talking like Kevin Smith doing his movies where he always has like the guy that played Dante in Clerks and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
he was in
for sure.
Mallrats and some other, and but really and truly not really including Dante, but talking about how he always has like um oh
Him,
what is his name? The guy that
him,
does the one that was
him
in my name is Earl.
yeah,
Who was
him and
that?
Adam. I cannot remember his name, but he was the. Would you like a chocolate covered starfish?
Yes,
It's like him and Adam Sandler both do that. They put their friends in the movies. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. Adam Sandler always had Norm Macdonald and Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Always.
Well,
And
he always had Dante. Funny enough, his name was Dante as well. In every movie, and his name in real life, I think, is Dante. But he was Dante in Grandma's Boy. You would remember him as the drug dealer, and then he was in Waterboy. He was the quarterback that was making fun of him. And then the other guy that I'm thinking of is the one that's like, "You the only one of us could have passed that test, Bobby Boucher."
yeah.
Those were his best friends from high school.
Adam Sandler's.
Yes,
That's cool. That's really cool how he does that too and everything. I mean, and like you said, he's not the only one. Obviously, Jim Varney's done it, and Kevin Smith is. I'm sure a lot of them people pull their friends into it, even if it's
sure,
just bit parts or something, just to
sure.
get them in there. Um, the basic synopsis of the movie. If you're not familiar with Ernest Saves Christmas or even Ernest and Junior,
In
in
general.
general, thank you. Got ahead of myself there, didn't I? In
Yeah.
this heartwarming holiday comedy, bumbling but lovable Ernest P. Worrell, played by Jim Varney, embarks on a wild Christmas adventure to save the holiday. The real Santa Claus, played by Douglas Seale, travels to Orlando, Florida in search for his successor, a kind hearted man named Joe Carruthers, played by Oliver Clark, a local children's TV host. However, Santa's mission is derailed when complications arise and he loses his stack of magical presents. With Christmas in jeopardy, Ernest steps in to help Santa save the day. Along the way, they're joined by a rebellious teenage girl named Harmony Starr, played by Noelle Parker, who learns the true meaning of Christmas as she becomes part of the journey.
Who I was
Pack,
in love with, who I was in love with in the late '80s, early '90s
I,
because of this movie.
I don't even know her from anything else. Shit, I'm gonna look her up in a minute, but I mean, that's the first I'd seen her. But basically it's
She
packed with
hadn't been in
laughs.
a whole lot.
Chadden.
No, she did some TV stuff, and she actually when the very first Amy Fisher movie that came out, the made for TV Amy Fisher, she played Amy Fisher,
Okay.
and she was Veronica in Clerks. Sorry, I'm getting
Was
ahead of
she
ourselves.
was she
We're
in
all,
Clerks?
we're all over the place in this
Was
one.
she in the first Clerks or second
TV.
Clerks?
It was a TV movie. I'm sorry,
Oh, a
wrong
TV
Clerks.
movie called Clerks. Okay,
Wrong
we
Clerks.
were just talking about Kevin Smith, and you brought that, and you said that, and I
I
thought,
know.
really,
That's why I thought it.
man. So I mean, some key plot points to the movie. Basically, Santa's mission. That's the most important part of it. He's looking for a successor. He's been doing it for 151 years, and it's
Hmm.
time for him. It's actually past time for him to pass the torch.
Yes.
The way he describes it is, after so long, if you don't pass the torch starts going out. And
Right.
so he's at the point now where he's taking notes on what kids' names are and how what presents they wanted, and that's just
Hmm.
to quote him. That's just not how this works.
Yeah.
So his mission is the main key plot of the movie, followed by Ernest getting involved to help him out to help save Christmas because of what happens along the way. I mean, look, Santa Claus gets arrested at one point because well, he's telling everybody he's Santa Claus. Nobody wants to believe him, right?
Can't do
So
that.
yeah, he can't do that. His elves hadn't got there to get the reindeer yet. The reindeer are out of their crates and they're all over the ceiling and everything. And the guys
Hmm.
calling them space goats or something like that, I think. Which I
Dude, he killed me when he started doing that. What was the first thing he called? These are those before he started
yeah.
calling them space goats. He called them something else, and I just died laughing.
Oh
It's
no, but
that's
the fact he called them space goats got me because you get to. This is nothing you would really know about, but an avid World of Warcraft player that I used to be, not so much anymore, but used to be a lot. One of my main characters I played was called a um Oh, what was the race of people? Draenei was the name of the race, the Draenei's. And the
Uh,
Draenei's, when you look at them, people refer to them as space goats
ah,
because, like the men would have these little goatees whenever they're bearing there.
yeah.
Then they got hooves for feet,
Ah, so they
and
look
so they call them space
makes
goats.
sense. That's nice.
So my friends I played with was always like, look at you and that space goat over there. Can't you pick something different? I'm like, nope.
That's hilarious.
Space goat. That's
Space
what I am.
goats.
But anyway, all these different things, these different hijinks start happening, and Ernest has to jump in. Well, the third highlight of the movie basically is the magic sack that Santa carries around that he brings the gifts out of. The
Right.
and this is a point of emphasis later in the
Glowing.
movie because
The
of the
cool thing
girl.
about the cool thing about that too is it's not every other movie has made it like you reach in and you grab a toy, but
Hmm.
the difference in this movie and every other movie I've seen is Santa's sack is like glowing balls, like a crystal ball. It's like kind of like this, and then you reach in there and you grab one, and then it turns into the present.
Right. But then the girl who's with them, Harmony, she's at one point she kind of runs off with the sack, thinking she's going to get all these big gifts and riches and stuff she
Yeah,
wants.
she's trying to get some money out of it.
And that's just not quite how it works, basically. So she finally comes to her senses and brings the bag back, and because that was about to ruin Christmas. Kids didn't have a Santa yet until the guy decided he would be Santa, and he didn't really believe it until he looked out the window and he sees the sleigh flying through the air. He can't make out who's on it, but he sees it, something magical flying through the air, zoom, 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 back and forth, and it's Ernest who can't get a hold of the reindeer right. Uh,
Yeah,
that's causing him to go crazy like it is. But the you know, I this is my first time watching the movie. Okay, my first.
nice.
This was my
That
first
makes
time
me
watching
happy.
it. I've
I'm
never
not going to give you
seen.
crap for that because my wife didn't see this movie until she was an adult, and me and only some of my friends growing up were big on Ernest. It was like you either loved Ernest or you didn't have a clue who he was.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, I mean I knew who Ernest was, but Ernest to me was the guy from the Purity Milk commercials. Okay,
Right? Yeah.
when you see him in the movie when he's in Vern's house and it's all crazy, looks like the
Uh-huh.
camera's up on Varney's face and then Harmony's face and like it's through the eyes of the person they're looking at. That's how
Yeah.
the Purity commercials were with Vern. Vern was always looking, and like Ernest would try to get in the house with him. He'd be trying to keep him out. I remember at some points he'd be at the open window, and when he'd be like Ernest would say something stupid and be like, "You know what I mean, Vern? You know what I mean?" And Vern
Right.
would slam.
Right.
He would slam the window down, and his fingers would still be there. You know,
Yeah.
different
And he
slapstick
called him.
things like that.
Yeah,
So I mean,
for
uh,
sure.
you get to this point. The a fourth point of the movie would be considered Harmony's redemption. This is the girl that runs off with Santa's magical bag or magical sack of toys, and
Right.
she understands basically what she's
Well,
done when she sees these kids arguing.
hang on before you stop before you go further there. Let's set Harmony up real quick. So when you meet Harmony, she's done stole some food. She basically
Right?
went into a restaurant and tried to
She
run out
ran
on a check. She
ran
dipped
on
on
the
a
check.
check.
Right?
So the feeling that you get is and later on you learn she's basically a runaway, um, projecting herself to be older than what she is, and she's somewhat of a little bit of a con artist. So you could tell she's kind of had a raw deal, and she's trying to make her own way, and just doing it through whatever means necessary. So her character at the beginning, she's just kind of out for herself, screw people over type person.
Right.
Okay.
Which is why it's important you to explain that because we learn of Harmony's redemption at the end of the movie later on when she realizes how wrong she's been and what she's doing is wrong and
Yeah.
to bring the sack back to Santa Claus. And the last part basically is Joe finally accepting the mantle. He after all this deliberation and thinking and everything and what should I do? What should I do? This movie's not for me. They won't. They want him to make this to do
They
this
wanted him
movie
to
where he's
cuss. He
cursing and
wanted,
the violence and they scare children at Christmas time and
and didn't
from this
he?
alien
And so
thing.
didn't he use? He originally had a little, like I guess, syndicated or local TV show for
Right,
TV show that he started with, and he
right,
was working at the children's science museum or whatever in Florida, and he was the one that Santa picked to be the next Santa. So his character was good too. So if you look past the silliness of this movie, which is one of the things that I love about it, but if you look beyond the silliness of this or any other Ernest movie, there's real good story in it. There's real good lessons in it. They're wholesome, family oriented, and just overall um, uh, how to be good. It's just good for humanity in ethically.
Right.
But yeah, he was wrestling with all that too. I thought his character arc in the movie was good too, because it's kind of one of those things where okay, this is insane, and you see him kind of like, man, I wish it was real. Like when he found, like when Harmony stole the bag, she stuffed another one full of feathers or whatever, or cotton or whatever it was, and then when Santa went to Joe's house and he pulled it out, he's like, man, it's a bag full of feathers. So he's like telling Santa that, I want to believe, I really wish this was true, because he was still writing him off as a crazy person at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, his acceptance of let's give it a shot was really cool.
Let me ask you. Well, what's the first thing you've seen, uh, Mr. Ernest P. Worrell in? What's the first thing Jim Varney was a part of that you've seen? Was it an Ernest or
It,
commercial, or was it something else?
it was definitely Ernest. Well, you know what? It may have been the commercials. I was so young. I really don't remember not watching Ernest. You know what I'm saying? Like 4, 5, 6 years old. Um, I really don't remember before that. I don't. I would say it'd probably be like either Ernest Goes to Camp, or there was like a TV show. I swear it was like a TV show that had him on it, or he'd come on TV or something. And it may, like I said, it may have been the commercials. I don't remember. I think it was. Yeah, no, it was a TV show. I think.
I'm not quite sure of a TV show for sure. He was on some. He's been on things since '74. I didn't realize how long he'd been in the business until I seen his commercials. Because the
Hmm.
commercials is where I first got introduced to Jim Varney,
Hmm.
that I was aware of anyway. So like
And
there was a TV
the
series
commercials, he
called
was playing Ernest too, though. So
Right.
that's what I say. It's gonna be probably for me an amalgamation of all of them, because I distinctly remember a TV show because I used to watch it on Saturday or Sunday mornings.
Well, I mean, okay, so there's several shows that he was a part of where this might have been what you're talking about. There was something called Pop Goes the Country, which it looks like it's some kind of country music kind of thing, like a hee haw kind of thing, but not quite like hee haw. Uh,
Okay,
Johnny
that's very
Cash and
possible.
Friends, Johnny Cash and Friends in '76.
Hmm.
A movie called Riding High in '77. A TV series called Fernwood Tonight.
Hmm.
America 2, the number 2, America Tonight TV series. He was in a few, like an episode in Alice. Then he got on Operation Petticoat, the TV series, Pink Lady, Spitting Image. But here in 1983 is a video
Know what I mean?
where he's portraying Ernest P. Worrell, and it just says, "Know what I mean? Hey Vern, it's my family album."
Yeah, there you go. Maybe
So,
that may be that video may be what spurned the commercials.
well, it might be because when you're looking at things on here after that, it's just a TV series called The Rousters for 13 episodes. He was in Hank Williams Jr. All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight music video.
Yeah.
And there on the cover of Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, it looks like, I swear that's Ernest on the cover. But it says he
Yeah.
plays someone called Dr. Otto and Rudd Hardtack and Laughing Jack. And maybe it's
Okay.
a list of characters he's playing. So maybe that's where you had seen it.
It it may have been that and the film festival I may be thinking of.
Right. Because Ernest Goes to
It all
Camp
fits
didn't hit till
together.
1987.
Okay.
And that
So
was the
yeah, it
first movie,
probably
the
was
Ernest
those.
movie.
It had to have been a toss up of the commercials and then the Dr. Otto and the Ernest Film Festival. Because I remember, I can remember back 4 or 5 years old and knowing who he was.
Now listen, in '88, there's a TV series of 13 episodes called Hey Vern, It's Ernest.
That's what it was then. That's definitely what I was watching.
Yeah, Ernest P. Worrell's who he played, and he played Auntie Nelda and Dr. Otto.
Yep, Auntie Nelda was one of my favorites. That's the old lady that was in. That's what I told Tasha. I said that's my favorite character that he does aside from Ernest. I was like, "Hey, doll." He was almost doing the "Hey, doll" thing. Not really, but he's like, "I wouldn't choose their side." He wears a neck brace to cover up his
Yeah,
Adam's apple. Like it's
right.
so good.
And
It's
you
so
tell him I need him to help me with my will since I just walked all the way from the airport. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna make it.
yeah,
But yeah, then you got Ernest. You know, he went on from doing this to well, actually, this was the second Ernest movie. The first one was Ernest Goes to Camp. You got Ernest Saves Christmas. You got
yeah,
Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest
yeah.
Scared Stupid.
Ernest goes to space.
Ernest Rides Again. But
Yeah,
he's so much more than Ernest. Ernest Goes to School in '94. He just
yeah,
really making money off the Ernest name. But he's much more than just
yeah. He was Jed
Ernest.
Clampett for crying out loud,
Right, the Beverly Hillbillies movie they made, he played Jed Clampett in there,
and he
and
was Slinky Dog. I knew it immediately when I heard Slinky Dog talk. I knew who that was.
yeah, you had it because he's got one of them recognizable voices for sure. So Slinky Dog is from Toy Story. For anybody asked, Toy Story. If you haven't watched Toy Story, shame on you. Shame on you.
Right.
At least the first one, anyway.
Then
Um,
he got Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest in the Army.
man, he
He's
just
doing
earned it.
really.
He just earnest in everywhere, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
So now
Ernest.
the person I really want to talk about is he. I see this picture of him, and I know who I'm looking at. I'm about to verify to make sure, but I know who I'm looking at, and if this is who I think it is, he is a part of one of the funniest scenes in a comedy movie that I've ever seen in my entire life. So let me just go make sure this is him before I start throwing it out there and looking bad. But we're talking early '80s, late '70s, one of the two. Am
Okay.
I am I correct? And if I'm not, it's okay. But he looks just like him.
Are you talking about Santa?
Yes.
Mm.
And it's not him. I can't believe it. Oh my
Oh
god,
wow.
this the guy has a doppelganger right there. Have you seen Porky's?
Lord, yeah.
The principal in Porky's, the first one, when they're in the
Oh
office
wow. I
with
never.
Ballbreaker.
Yeah, he does look just like him.
Does he not? It's a
He
spitting
does.
image of him,
Yeah.
and that's man. I cannot believe that is not him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh well,
Douglas Seale. He hadn't done a whole. I mean, he worked consistently, but he didn't do a whole lot of stuff that I think was huge. Or you would know about. He was in Amadeus as Count Arco, and he did a couple up. He did some TV stuff. He was in Rags to Riches. If y'all watch that, he was John Clapper in Rags to Riches for 20 episodes. So I guess he was in that whole TV show. And then it looks like just little feature stuff that he did after that.
he's got a lot of things also where he did voices for cartoons and stuff, the cartoon
Mhm.
movies and things. And he had episodes here and there: Cheers, Growing Pains, Alf, Scarecrow, Mrs. King. He was in a Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton, so another Christmas movie,
Yeah.
1986. So I mean, he's been around. He's done some things. Uh, soap opera. It looks like I think The Edge of Night was a soap opera, wasn't it?
I don't remember that one.
I might be
Just to be
wrong.
honest, I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, I don't really either. But it looks and sounds like a soap opera for some reason. So Oliver Clark played Joe Carruthers. We'll
Uh,
touch on him for just a second. Don't want to spend too much time on him
he
though.
looks really familiar.
I don't know that he looks so
Recall
familiar to
where I
me.
saw him from, or it may have been just that I've seen this movie so many times too. It was when he shaved his beard. I started trying to figure out where else I had seen him in.
Right. He was in Mystery Men.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
He was on
maybe
MASH
no.
episodes.
Yeah, he's had. I'm sure, like most everybody else we've come across here, he's a lot of TV series.
And wow, I noticed it's crazy that it's only one episode. I did not realize how much I have watched reruns of Night Court because I'm sure I remember seeing this. Now that I see it, distinctly remember seeing him on Night Court, but he's only on there for one episode. So many people have been on Night Court. It's crazy.
A lot of people come to there now. But guys, on top of Night Court, you look at Mr. Belvedere, Knots Landing, Santa Barbara, Dear
Yeah.
John, Golden Girls, Life Goes On.
Growing
You know,
Pains,
of course,
Jefferson.
there's movies saying elsewhere. The Fall Guy, he's on that. Crazy Like a Fox, The Jeffersons.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's definitely had his share of
Seen him
TV
around.
series.
That's what it is. I probably just seen him around on autumn TV series.
And yeah, probably. And there's those people who have those faces that we know But it's like, okay, me and Marty did a thing for the YouTube channel last night. By the way, for those of you, uh, we have a YouTube channel, and I've been wanting to do more content for it. Marty Phillips and I started this last night. We did TV. Basically, we did our first TV show episode. We did the 18.
Nice.
It's not up yet. I haven't uploaded it just yet. It'll go up very soon. But there's plenty of people that's been on the A team that are just people whose faces you know when you see them, but they never were big stars.
Yeah.
They were just extras. Now there's just one guy who played a bad guy on the A team a couple of times. He was the colonel or whatever he was in Rambo First Blood Part 2. He was coming back from Murdoch. Funny enough, his name was Murdoch. And then he
Okay.
shows up on the A team where there's a Murdoch as well. Um, so I mean, it's people like that. They got those faces that you know and you've seen them around. And this guy is just one of them. I mean, I know I've seen him before as well, but I didn't
Yeah.
realize all these different things he'd been on until just looking just now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It's good. Let's jump over to the girl for a second. Noelle Parker
Noelle Parker.
was played Harmony, which
Yeah.
was one of Travis's crushes, is apparently.
She was. She was at the time, yeah, she was kind of like she was like a poor man's Samantha.
The poor man's Samantha.
Not
Ernest
really.
Saves Christmas, obviously. Amy
I guess
Fisher.
that may have been why I liked her. She does, even rewatching it today, I was like, she kind of reminds me a little bit of Alyssa Milano back in the day. A little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. So she's
I
got
like
her.
those dark-haired girls too. And like I said, I mean, at the time, she had that one ponytail with the braids out of it and the armbands and stuff. And I was always into older women, so
She's in her fair share of TV series as well, apparently.
mhm.
So I can see here Kate and Allie. I used to watch that TV series. She was Kate and Allie in '87 for one episode. You was just a wee 7-year-old lad at that point.
Just a wee 7-year-old.
Beverly Hills 90210 for an
I
episode.
was only 8 when Ernest Saves Christmas came out.
How about that?
Although I may or I can't recall. There are some movies I can't recall because my grandmother did take me to a lot of movies. I may or may not have seen this. I don't remember. I don't recall whether or not I saw this in the theaters, but I know I saw it close to around that age. So I may have.
Well, speaking of the theaters, release date November 11th, 1988. Budget of $6.5 million estimated. The opening weekend, it pretty much made its money back almost at 5.7. It grossed worldwide 28.2 million. So
Yeah, I'm pretty
not
sure.
too-
So so it would have been. I would have been 9. I would have probably been. I'd have been around 8 years old because my birthday's in July. So I'm pretty sure that my grandmother took my cousin and I, because we were the only grandkids. There was only 2 of us, so we got to do a lot of fun stuff with our grandparents. I'm pretty sure my grandma took us to see this in the movies.
John Cherry directed most of these movies for Ernest that Jim Varney's done. He thought this was the best of the Ernest movies.
Yeah.
So I guess if we were going to do an Ernest movie, at least it was the best of them.
Well, that's all opinion. Because I love all of them. Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Scare Stupid, Ernest Goes to Camp. The later ones weren't so great, like Ernest Goes to Africa and Ernest Goes to School and all, but those 3 right there, Ernest Scare Stupid, Ernest Saves Christmas, and Ernest Goes to Camp, those are great.
You mentioned how one of your favorite characters is Ernest dressed up as Auntie Nelda.
Yeah.
This is the second time that Ernest dresses up as Auntie Nelda. He would play her for most of the series up to Ernest Goes to Africa in '97. So
yeah, he was great.
the only movie in which Vern appears, unless Ernest on Splash Mountain in '89 made the TV. That was a TV Ernest movie. Counts as an
When did
Ernest
Vern
movie.
appear?
Hmm?
I didn't know that. When did Vern appear?
Well, he doesn't really appear, but he's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Is what they're trying to say, I believe.
Okay, I got you. That's what I'm about to say. I don't remember ever seeing Vern. I think that was part of the shtick was that you never saw. Like when he was talking to Vern, he was talking to you.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
He'd lean in and look at the camera and be like, "Know what I mean, Vern?"
But
But
Vern was the guy he was actually talking to.
mm,
Normally I probably wasn't going to mention this till I saw a certain city here, so I'm going to go and mention it anyway. The reindeer in the film were flown from northern Ontario, Canada, to the film's production in Orlando, Florida. During
cool.
filming, production ran into trouble when one of the on the reindeer's first day on the set, the 95-degree heat, their antlers began to shed, literally falling off. It says exposing bloody nubs.
Yeah, I could see that.
Reindeer makeup was called in. Prop antlers were considered, but the reindeer weren't having it. Ultimately, the reindeer scenes were rescheduled and reshot 2 months later in the great town of Nashville, Tennessee.
How about that? Heck yeah.
Music City, USA had some
City USA,
Ernest
baby.
some Ernest Saves Christmas filmed here.
Heck yeah. I dig it. I like that. Yeah, Ernest Dagum. If y'all hadn't caught an Ernest movie, y'all need to see an Ernest movie, man. And if you got kids too, watch it with the kids. Because it's gonna go one or two ways. They're gonna think it's old and stupid, or they're gonna laugh. Mine, I don't know why, but my 11-year-old, he appreciates all kinds of stuff. He's more into live action movies than he is cartoons, and always has been. But
Well, that's good though.
he enjoys it too.
But I mean, he has to enjoy some good cartoons as well, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we watch cartoons too, for sure.
In the first draft of this film, Ernest was going to take over as the role of Santa. And honestly, since I've never seen it before, I thought that's how it was going to happen before I
Yeah,
watched it.
heck yeah.
Though director John R. Cherry liked the idea, Disney balked at it. Their exact words were he would not mesh with the classic take of Santa. Hence,
Right.
Disney had them rewrite the story to have Ernest helping Santa find the next guy to be his successor.
I think I like it better that way too, though, because then it lets Ernest go on to other movies and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm in agreement with that. I really do have to say, because with Ernest being kind of the goofball that he is, I really do have to agree. I think that was the better choice. That was back when Disney was making good choices. Ha ha ha.
That hasn't happened in a while.
I
Uh,
know, right?
the highest grossing of the Ernest films was this
Mhm.
one, which I've not seen any Ernest movies. I've seen movies with Jim Varney in it, but never an Ernest movie until today. This is the
Yeah.
first one I've seen. When Jim Varney was asked why this movie received a PG rating, he jokingly replied, "Unusual cruelty to reindeer."
That's hilarious.
Well, were they expecting a G rating or something? I mean, I
Right?
figured pretty much everything got a PG rating unless it was a cartoon and got a G rating. I thought G ratings were specifically for cartoons or something, but I guess it's possible you could have a movie that's just so family friendly,
So wholesome.
so wholesome, they could have a
Absolutely.
G
They have those
rating.
all the time. They have those all the time. And PG is just parental guidance. I would think anything, just about anything that would be an Ernest movie would be PG, because the censors or the whatever the board is would see the stuff. Some of the stuff that happens is violence. You know what I mean? Like, because Ernest goes through it. The slapstick comedy is there. He goes through it a lot.
Now, there was one reason in the movie that I didn't like it for a moment, and
Yeah.
that was them dumping all those snakes in the back of the truck. I
Was
hate
that
snakes.
character not great though? I was about to say something about him a while ago. The character that he was doing, was that not amazing? That he was like, all right, you get in there and juice them up, and now they getting knots. And yeah,
Right.
that was one of the things I think when I was a kid I loved so much about him too. He did so many different characters.
Oh my goodness. Hey,
How about when they
what?
came in and dumped the real snakes in the back of the truck?
That's what I said. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. I didn't
oh,
like
yeah.
that at all.
He turned around. He was like, but later on when he was cleaning the snakes out of the back of the truck, I remember when I was a kid, that was the funniest thing ever. He turned around and said, "What?" He had like the snake biting him, like he had like three snakes stuck to his face where they were biting him.
Right. I was like, no.
Oh,
Uh, were you by any chance a crew member of this movie?
uh-oh.
At the young age you were there, at the young age of 8 or so, were you a crew member to this?
I could have been. I've been working for a while.
I mean, John Cherry had to assign someone to keep the 16-year-old Noelle Parker away from the crew members because they were being a bit too friendly with her.
Oh, it might have been me. I would have been her protector.
Were you the protector and
I would have
protector in
protected her.
charge?
Absolutely. What was his name?
It
Don't tell me it lines up perfectly.
there's no name on here. It's just
Ah,
crew members plural.
oh.
They were beginning to be a bit too friendly with her. It says.
Oh, you're saying I was one of the ones that would have been too friendly.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You being too friendly with her.
This
Were
little
you
blonde-headed,
there?
blue-eyed boy right here won't get away from her.
Oh man. What's this? During filming, Disney was at war with the Teamsters Union. The union picketed the production for the first few weeks of filming, and protesters would shoot off firecrackers whenever director John Cherry yelled action. They would also put sugar in the production trucks' gas tanks, intimidate the hair and makeup crew, and steal all the set's craft service. It
Wow.
got so bad it said that Disney had the production moved to the Disney MGM studio lot, as the union could not picket there due to a law against protesting on private property.
No kidding.
Yeah, this is the first union protest at a film production in Orlando, Florida, where this movie was shot. That's crazy.
What? That is wild.
Trying to take out a kids movie. What's up
Right?
with that? And yes, I do consider this a kids movie. While I was watching this, I was like, there's just
Oh,
no
definitely.
way. There's no way a group of adults get together every year and watch this movie.
Yeah, no, no.
I
I
mean,
don't. I
unless
don't need
it's
to
the
watch this every year.
unless it's the first time they've seen it and they're watching it as an adult for the first time. But like, I'm not going to come back next year and watch this movie, or the year
No,
after, or the year after.
I
I
don't
will
even.
go watch other things though, like Jingle All the Way and Elf and Christmas Story and National Lampoons and all these things. I'll do that. But
Yeah,
this Ernest thing, this just definitely a child's thing, more or less, I believe.
yeah, 100%. I'll agree 10,000 with that. But I still think that everybody should invest a little bit of time in at least one Ernest movie.
Yeah. Now, do you
Whether
know
it's animated or what.
this is the only movie to get a theatrical release outside of North America?
Oh wow,
It's
it was
never
a
had any, yeah, never had any worldwide attention or anything, and maybe it's because of the whole Christmas and Santa bit, but I'm not sure.
could be could.
So, um, let's see here. Anything else
I
that's
know.
interesting about this?
In France, it was retitled to Santa Claus is in prison.
Santa Claus in prison. Santa Claus in Pokey.
Santa Claus is in the pokey. We got to go help him. It's the
Oh
only Disney movie. It's the only Ernest movie on Disney Plus. That's strange.
man.
Hmm. I would like
Um,
to read something. I would like to read something that I found about Mr. Jim Varney, rest in peace, and Ernest P. Worrell, and give credit to quotesanity.com that wrote this. And it's Ernest Worrell's endearing charm and look into his character is the name of the excerpt here. And I think it sums it up great too. And just how I love to pay respects to my most beloved comedians as well. So I'd like to just read this out too because it's kind of perfect. It says Ernest Worrell, portrayed by the talented Jim Varney, is a beloved character known for his endearing charm and comic antics. Whether it's his silly catchphrases or his bumbling yet lovable personality, Ernest has a way of capturing hearts of audiences of all ages. One of Ernest's defining traits is his infectious enthusiasm. No matter the situation, he approaches it with unwavering excitement and a can-do attitude. This optimism is often displayed through his attempts to tackle various challenges, regardless of his lack of expertise. His determination serves as a reminder to never give up and always try your best, even if things don't go as planned. Another aspect of Ernest's character that endears him to his viewers is his kind heart. He genuinely cares about others and is always willing to lend a helping hand, often finding himself caught up in crazy schemes and adventures as a result. Whether it's helping a friend or in need of standing up for what he believes in, Ernest shows you that being kind and compassionate can make a positive impact on those around you. And he goes on to say a few more things, but that part right there, I think that's one of the things that I love in adulthood about Ernest too, is like, it doesn't matter what happens, even if he feels like he messed it up, like he turns around, he doesn't hold on to anything, he doesn't let anything get him down. He just keeps on moving forward with whatever the task is. And I feel like that relates a lot to how we do in life. You know what I'm saying? Like as
yeah,
far as positivity is concerned, don't let, what I mean? You can get down and be upset for a minute, but you got to get right back up and keep on pushing forward and keep on going. It don't matter. We're going to figure it out. And that's kind of Ernest embodies that for sure.
Very good description of it, I believe. Very good.
Yeah,
And then
and
that's
it's
a good.
a running theme through all of the Ernest movies too. That particular part right there is just a common theme throughout anything you're going to see Ernest in.
And I was going to ask you a question, just a little general question, but I think you've really kind of answered it ahead of time,
Oh,
honestly. Because the question I had for you was, what makes Ernest Save Christmas stand out among other holiday movies? And
yeah,
it's kind of like you're saying, the character of Ernest and all the things you have just said about him from the article there. I mean, it kind of knocks it out.
yeah, I
That
agree.
definitely makes it stand out from other things. Well, skipping that one, then, do you think the story of Santa passing the torch to a successor adds a unique twist to the typical holiday movie formula? Because normally, when you see, as far as we know, Santa Claus is forever. Santa
Yeah,
Claus doesn't go away.
I think at the time it was because I think a lot of movies have followed up on that same formula. Um, the Tim Allen movie, the Santa Claus, is one that comes to mind immediately. And there's a couple other that I do distinctly. I can't remember recall off the top of my head, but there's a couple other that do that. But yeah, I would say yeah, it does kind of stand out because you know you think of Santa as always being there.
That's a good one. Do you think that the Harmony character, her start from the cynical teenager or cynical character, still she is a teenager though. Do you feel like her redemption arc that she had in the movie was a believable one? Did they kind of rush it along a little bit too much, or do you feel
For what
like
if it wasn't such a silly movie, then I would say yeah. But for what it is, and for kids, like you said, keeping in mind the fact that this is targeted at the audience that it's targeted at,
Mhm.
I would have to say no because um, everything was there was nothing subtle about it. Everything was blatant and in your face. So they show blatantly that she's kind of a selfish out first, do whatever it takes kind of person. And then the brother and sister there at the airport or bus station or whatever it was she was at, and then Ernest and Santa's. Ernest is already Santa in a lot of ways. His characteristics and stuff. I still agree that he wouldn't make a good Santa, but like the excerpt that I just read, he genuinely cares about people. So his forgiveness and his glowing attitude rubbing off on her, and I think it did. I think it did well for the type of movie that it was set in.
that's
What
the
do you
one more thing for you here?
Okay?
Do you think Ernest's slapstick humor will still resonate with modern audiences today, or is it just more nostalgic for the people who grew up through it? Because take your average 10, 12-year old today,
Hmm.
put them in front of the movie with Ernest in it versus something that they're used to watching today. Will they still? Do you think they'll still resonate to them as humorous and funny?
As a movie, no. But if you were to take pieces of Ernest movies, and the only reason I say this is because where society has moved to and attention spans, and on one hand, you could say kids grow up or in certain areas, kids move forward faster, but I don't think they mature faster than we did in our generation. So I would say, with the attention span being what it was, if you were to chop this up and throw it on TikTok or make YouTube shorts or something or little clips of the funny spots, then they would love Ernest. But I would say to sit down and watch it as a movie, I would say no, because there's kids that age, there's not a whole lot of movies they're wanting to watch unless it's Jack Black. You know what I'm saying? Like the Mario movie and the Minecraft movie, and unless it's something that pertains to their social interactions and social media, social life, they're not interested in it. And I would
Well,
say that
right.
would be the only reason that they wouldn't like it, because I think the style of comedy definitely will resonate. It's timeless. You still got people being slapstick in movies.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, we're getting close to wrapping things up, I believe. Go ahead and we're at the 49-minute, 50-minute mark. So we're
Yeah.
over 40. We're over 45 minutes, but not quite under at an hour yet. But We've been trying to hit the 45 marker a lot more anyway. Um, last last thoughts on the movie for Ernest Saves Christmas that you want to put out to the people out there? Any last second recommendations or anything?
Yeah, just go watch it. Just, I mean, if it's not this one, just pick a Ernest movie and watch it, man. Like even if it's for nostalgia or just if you've never seen one to check it out, you might be like, "This is so stupid." I don't know, but it's it's just if you look at it for what it is, and like I said, especially if you've got younger kids, you'll enjoy it, and it is funny. Like I mean, come on, you laugh. Can't say you didn't laugh at least some on it.
Right. Well, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't laugh through the whole movie. I did find a few
Certain
things.
parts.
I did find a few things that were kind of humorous to me. Yes,
Right.
but as far as laughing at it,
It's not a laugh out loud. It's to make you chuckle as an adult.
yeah, I mean, I got a little chuckle out of a couple of things, but it's nothing that really made me laugh a lot or anything though. So
Yeah.
I can't really say that. So, well, all right, we'll start wrapping things up here. We hope you got well, and well, to throw my recommendation out there, if you're gonna watch one, I would say since it's Christmas time and we're going over Christmas movies, just pick this one out and run with it. Uh,
Heck yeah.
since I've seen this one and I haven't seen the others, I could personally say that I didn't have any trouble sitting through it. As far as not being interested or anything, it did hold my attention, and I've never seen an Ernest movie in my life. Just
Hmm.
his character on television for the purity commercials, and it was enough to keep me going. And I mean, I kind of liked it, but like I said, it's not what I'm going to go back and watch over and over again.
Right.
So, but it was pretty good. So, anyway, that being said, for those of you who are watching for the first time, thank you for watching and listening to us. If you go to Instagram or Facebook, you'll find us on there at Retro Life for You. You can follow us on there. If you want to email the show with any suggestions or questions or comments or anything, you can reach us at retrolifeforyou@gmail.com. We have a website where you can listen straight through the audio through the browser and also watch the show in the show notes on video, which is just linked to the YouTube page that I mentioned earlier. So once again, but to the YouTube page before I get past that, uh, follow us there, hit the buzzer, click the bell up front at the top where it alerts you when new stuff comes out. And then back to the webpage, www.retrolife, the number four, the letter u.com. And you can, like I said, listen to all the stuff to the browser and watch in the show notes and everything. Um,
You.
Travis, I didn't do this last week. We got to do it this week.
Hmm.
We were not prepared last week at all at the end. We really
We
weren't.
weren't. We
And we
weren't.
tried we tried to pull something off, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know if it pulled off really successfully or not, but I'm going to ask you this week, what is the
Okay.
difference? Since it's Christmas time, right? We should all be
Right.
getting snow in some areas. Now in my area, we won't get a lot of snow. We'll get ice because it's the South basically. But in
Yeah.
the northern states, where all our fans up north that listen to us, it gets lots of snow and everything. You got to be making them snowmen out there. And the one question we would like to ask you is, what's the difference, Travis, between a snowman and a snow woman?
Snowman and a snow woman.
Yes.
Uh, to carrot?
Snowballs.